Well, this is the first podcast for the African Cycling Network satellite. It's a podcast to talk about Ghana cycling as a whole, the performance of our athlete, the journey to early 2028, as well as everything concerning cycling in Africa. We are entering into 2025 very soon, and we have a lot of activities for cyclists out there, including prizes for those who will be winning, and also to develop and to enhance our athlete concerning the early 2028. But first on the podcast, I will be having the General Secretary of the Ghana Cycling Federation on our first podcast, but also we'll be introducing cyclists, technicians, the technical directors, the coaches, as well as everybody concerning cycling in Ghana. But before we head into the early 2028, we'll be also talking about the ACNS, what it entails, the satellite in Sawam, what it entails, the number of athletes who will be competing in there, the number of cyclists who will be registering in there, and how it will help them to shape their talent for the early 2028, and also the General Secretary for the Cycling Federation. I call him the walking encyclopedia when it comes to cycling. Anything concerning cycling, ask him, and he will have an answer for you. He doesn't need to open book, not at all. He doesn't need to open any constitution. Just ask him, and he will give you anything concerning cycling in Ghana. But let me introduce him first, and then we'll delve into the issues. Hello, Mr. Shaban.
Thank you. Isaac, fine. How's it going?
We are good. Hope you're also good.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Yeah, me, I call you welcome encyclopedia. When it comes to cycling.
Yeah.
I've known you, and when it comes to organization, in terms of getting the work done, you are always on top.
Yeah, we are grateful to Almighty Allah for pushing us this far. We have learned a lot, we have served a lot, and we are patient, and we are still learning. So that's why we are doing our best this time.
Yeah, I've known you for quite a long time now, and for the first time I met you at the stadium. It was a press conference, and then the way you handled the questions from the media, it shows that you are really on top of issues, and the questions were coming left, right, center, but you were able to handle it, and then everybody was satisfied with the answer you gave them. And then since then I begin to like you, looking at the knowledge you have in cycling, and then the knowledge you have in leadership as well. I think when every federation has these qualities, we'll move forward as a country in terms of developing the sports. But today we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the ACNS and the journey to early 2020. But first of all, let's start with the ACNS, the African Cycling Network satellite. It entails a lot, and for those cyclists who will be watching us, the coaches, the technicians, the technical directors, they would love to know more about the ACNS, what it entails for the cyclists, and also for them as well. So if you can give a breakdown of what the ACNS is, they'll be very happy with it, and maybe going forward, they'll be able to comply with their rules concerning it.
Thank you very much, Isaac. I think, when you come to cycling, we always want to create how we can help develop the performance of athletes. And the African Cycling Network satellite is being created to serve the underserved.
To serve the underserved.
Because you see, there are a lot of potential athletes in Africa, but my brother, they are underserved. They are not known. Okay, so that is what we are trying to, bring them to light. Because when you organize the event, you see some guys from Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso are riding. Look, they match the Europeans. But how do you maintain them to be able to sustain cycling as a means of life? So the satellites aim to make sure if you are a cyclist, we discovered you, we are going to push you to your ultimate. So that's the basic of the satellite. And when you look this Tour de France this year, you see the way Benyam Gremai did, and the struggle even to get visa to go to Europe. In that time, it wasn't easy for him. But look today, if this guy was not able to use other means, he could have been dead in Africa. So we are trying to say, okay, we will be the mouthpiece of the underserved those athletes that cannot have the opportunity to excel, who will be their mouthpiece in Africa, to make sure we bring them to light so that they will achieve the intention they have within them. But if somebody have intention and is not able to deliver, it kills that person gradually. And that is why most of our youth are into other areas that is not good. So with this satellite, we believe we are going to push very hard, and we are going to help not only the Ghana Cycling Federation, but Africa at large. But we are starting with the Ghana and West Africa for now, because we are seeing that within West Africa, you travel without visa, without any struggling. So at this particular moment, yes, we have started some few things, and looking at it, all the athletes that we are pushing now, you can see they are coming gradually to the top.
You made mention of starting with West African countries. At what point in time of the other, let's say the northern part of Africa, the southern part of Africa, will also join this ACNS?
Yes, at the moment we have made our door open, and we are doing a lot of search, not from all the national federation, from the cyclists themselves. Because when you go to the national federation, they will tell you that we have a lot of potentials. Then they will introduce those cyclists for us, and we will interview these cyclists and ask them, how can we assist you? What do you want? Get up on there. You need to understand what the athletes want before you can help that person. Most of the times, some people will say, look, we need bicycle. But some will tell you, no, it's not about bicycle. What I need is to get something after my training, what I can eat after my training, how I can be given the idea of cycling. For example, most of our cyclists, let me tell you, they cycle, but they don't understand the sport. They just join the sport just because, excuse me to use this word, a lot of them join cycling because of poverty. You understand? Because they don't have money to transport themselves. They were using
something that will sustain them.
That will sustain them. And even they take a bicycle as a means of transport. And that's where most of them enter into the sport. So you can see, we, the satellite at the moment, what we're trying to do, when we discovered you, we start with you. Even if you are an elite athlete, we start with you and ask you questions. Then before we can start giving you what we want to give it out. It's not that all of a sudden we just bring you on board. No, we ask you what time did you join cycling? What is your aim? Where do you want to end your career in cycling? If you are able to give us all this information, we'll give you the opportunity to excel. And by so doing, at the moment, we are growing a lot of young guys that are developing cycling.
Is it based on individual, or maybe you are coming from a cycling club?
Yeah, general. You see, we want to help all the sports, cycling sport in general. If you belong to a club, we'll help you. If you're an individual, you don't have a club, we'll still help you. What we need is that so far you can paddle and you have aim and objective that yes, cycling is a sport that you want to take it as a means of life. We will help you to achieve that goal.
Is it based on age, or maybe anybody at all can join?
Yeah, you know, cycling has a different terrains. For example, it's a sport, it's a way of life, it's a means of transport. It also have environmental, emissions. For example, smoke and other areas. So, at the moment, we are tackling the sport and health for now. The sport is the area that will still encourage a lot to do what? To join cycling. So that is why we are now moving to the federations. And the federation also introduced us to some of the cyclists. And the cyclists also are introduced us to some of their colleagues that they think they are better than them, but because they don't have the opportunity. So we are bringing all together, and we just look at it with your direction. Help us to push you to your level. So So like I'm saying, our agenda is to give you the opportunity because you want it, but you don't get the opportunity. So we will be the mouthpiece to push you to make sure you achieve. Because they might got this opportunity through a certain hard and push before he got the opportunity. And he's young, 26 years old. Within the next 30 years, this guy will make sure the Tour de France best winning will go to Gremia very soon. Because the first Tour de France he took part, how many stages? And took the green jersey. And now, the best painter in the world that we all know, at the moment, we know he's retiring by, I think, 36 wins of the Tour de France. But Gremai have done something that is more than him. Get my point there. So, looking upon the future, I believe Gremai within the next 4 years, he can beat the champion that we all know is sprint like a tiger, because he take the poster of the tiger and he sprints like that. And Gremai at the moment is chasing that goal. And I believe before Gremai will leave cycling, it will be the record of 36 win.
Talking about the age, because it is the dream of most cyclists to compete in Olympic Games, and you need to start preparations at a very young age. And Ghana, we have the early 2028 at our site, and we want to qualify our first cyclists to the Olympic Games. And I know it will take a very hard work to do that. But let's look at the performance of our athletes. Let's see the individual, the time trial, and then the team. Which one do you think will be the easiest for us in terms of qualification to the Olympic Games?
Yeah, I would say all is possible. All the three areas is possible. But what we have to do, we must have a plan. And first of all, before you have a plan, you must go to the Olympic Games and understand the business at the Olympic Games. Then you bring in pieces to meet your demands. And if you think that yes, your demands can put you there, you have to chase for it. Like I said, we are now in 2024. Today is 31st, and I believe 2025 is around the corner. At the satellite, we are able to have a collaboration with the Ghana Cycling Federation. And fortunately, the Ghana Cycling Federation also had the opportunity to bring on board Bahati Foundation, which 2 years ago we have laid down a plans how the Ghana Cycling Federation will be part of the LA 2028. So we have created a project, and the project will be launched very soon in LA. I think the Alice will be leaving Ghana 26th to 3rd February, 26th of January to 3rd February. And they are going to have a workshop, and this workshop is going to give the highlight of the roadmap to the LA 2028. So before the LA 2028, we are starting our LA 2025 in LA. So this will give a big dream for these cyclists. So we have selected 6 cyclists at the moment, and these cyclists are the age between 17 and 24 years.
Oh, so they are very young.
They are very young.
Before 2028, they'll be mature.
Excellent. So, and now, looking upon the average speed that the Cycling Federation and the satellite are working out now, all these, the 17 years now, have entered the 40 average speed, 40 kilometers per hour. Okay?
Which is quite good.
Which is good. So, we are looking before LA 2028, they will hit 50, 55, which we are not going there to participate, but we want to be on podium.
To win a medal?
Yeah, we want to be on podium.
That will be massive.
That's it. So, and we can do it. The reason why we can do it.
In doing that, the federation, you have your plans for it. But what about government support? Then
Yeah.
If you want to be on the podium, preparations must start now.
Yeah.
You have your plans, but What is government support? What is government adding to what you have done?
Yeah, what we need from the government, I think we have pushed them very hard, and the MOU we even signed with the Bahati Foundation. We have revisited the MOU again by the advice of the Deputy Director General of the National Sports Authority, Mr. Majid Bawa, and Mr. Abdul Majid Bawa, that the MOU, we need to bring the government on board. So at the moment, we have amended it. The National Sports Authority and the Ministry of Youth and Sports is part of the MOU. And this launching that we are going to do in USA, they are now leading the federation to go to the launch. So the Parliament Select Committee is on board, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is on board, the National Sports Authority is on board, and the Ghana Olympic Committee.
I hope it will not be a lip service.
No, because when they are there and they are able to meet with the sponsors of Bahati, then really the sponsors will be very happy to see the ministry, the NSC, the parliament, and the Ghana Olympic Committee on board of this launch. Then I believe it's going to be a goal for the Ghana Cycling Federation. Because you see, what the government don't need to spend money, physical money. What they need to do is to give the necessary attention to companies and sponsors. Because let me tell you, before you go to this LA 2028, what we need to do, you must accumulate points. You must go to events, and there are other clubs that are ready to do that. And these clubs, what they want is advertising. So if they know this cyclist is good and he have the backing of his country to be able to make the mark, then the sponsor can take this cyclist. You take care of him with equipment. You take care of him with nutrition, training, and everything. And during the Olympic, the fellow will just come and compete for the country and go back to his club, because the club will benefit. But most of the time, when the issue comes to the states, there's no money, there's no that, so they scare the sponsors, they scare the people that want to help. So that is why we, the satellite, are advising, no, that the potential, all what we need is your time. Listen to the federation, listen to the analysts, listen to the sponsors. They are giving you, they are not taking from you. If they give them the opportunity, we will excel. Look, when you go to Europe, almost all these guys that qualify to the Olympic Games, brother, they are not taken care of by their country. They are taken care of by their clubs. Let's go to football. Messi and co, they have their own clubs. They play. And during they qualify to the World Cup, they go and play with their national color, right? But before they go to that national team, that club that they belong, the club prepared them. You get a point there? So we also adapted that strategy in Ghana to say, okay, the government, what we need from you is not money. What we need from you, give us the attention, give us the support of the document, whatever we bring a sponsor. Just give us the mileage, just give us the necessary attention. They will help us for the 4 years to prepare this and represent Ghana and bring medal to Ghana.
Well, so you made mention of 6 cyclists have been chosen for that workshop in USA. How have they responded to this call? Because it is the dream of every cyclist to be there, and most at times we talk about cyclists not being prepared ahead of time. How is the federation preparing them for this workshop in America?
Yeah, at the moment, the Cycling Federation has mandated the satellite to take charge of their training. Unfortunately for us, most of the veteran cyclists live abroad, now helping these 6 cyclists. For example, recently we received tires, tubes, and chains, sprockets from one of the veteran cyclists who now live in the United States, called Jonas Ajimai, popularly known as Kobna. And this guy promised from January to put these 6 cyclists on allowance.
That's great.
You get my point? And he promised every 2 months to make sure he will change their tires, change their chain, change their tools for them. That's individual. Then also we have the CEO, the director of the satellite himself, Mr. Seto, and the brother also promised to take care of their feeding 3 square meals a day. Now, what they are trying to do is that they have arranged with some of the nutritious food companies in Ghana. Now, look, we should take care of these 6 cyclists. So before they go to the training, they have to go and have their breakfast. After training, they have to go for their lunch. After the lunch, they have to go for their supper. So, and these guys now are crazy. Because let me tell you, when we send them one time to go and eat at the East Legon, say, wow, with this, then we have to make it. You understand?
Yeah, one alone is a motivation.
It's a motivation. You understand? Because, excuse me to say, some of them will go to event and camp. They just don't even have what to take. You get a point? And now they have all this support. And this is about planning and also the transparent of the leadership of the federation. Or the president focus and the transparency and his focus is that, look, make yourself clean to everyone. You get the support. So we are now getting it gradually. And recently, we also had a call from Canada. One of the coaches also, he said that he wants to see how best he can help us to develop these 6 cyclists. You get my point there? And most of all this is that the son of Bahati Foundation, which is called Rasan, is a former 10-time champion in the United States of America. Experienced guy. He's going to take these guys to LA. So he's been monitoring their training, calling them, giving them all the tactics, technical, whatever. But the finest of it is that he's ambassador of Giant Bicycle. Giant. And when you talk about Giant, it means a lot, a Giant Bicycle. And they are part of the sponsors of this LA 2028.
Oh, then we are well positioned.
Excellent. So now bringing the government is when the Giant now will be giving us equipment. It's up to the government to see how they can facilitate it down to Ghana. So that is why they are going there. Now, another fantastic point also is that we heard from the Bahati Foundation, Zwift.
Yeah.
Zwift is a e-cycling. You know, they are also partnering with Bahati Foundation, and which Rasan is also ambassador. And now Zwift is coming to Ghana. Zwift is coming to Ghana through this LA project. And so I believe this is going to help the cyclists, not only the 6, but have a setup so that we will be there forever, not to go to LA and come back maybe in 2032, we cannot qualify. We want to sustain like the way the paracycling sustained itself into the Paralympic Games since 2012. We have been in 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024. And we want to sustain. So we can see that, yes, the focus of the federation is big and the attention is going little by little. And now it has reached a point that, and also fortunately, we also have our guy, one of the Ghanaian cyclists, which we all know him, called Black Cyclist in the United Kingdom, is also behind the whole this scenario. So to me, the tax is big, but we are getting a lot of recognition.